Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and in the description box below, it is linked to the original video of a video that will be a reaction slash responding to at the same time type of video to a video called Gender Fluid Person Confuses Everyone. Now, you often hear this term when people say that they're gender fluid, and that term often is non-binary. Now, let's do a dictionary search of what non-binary is. I mean, people that use logic in general know what non-binary is, but some of these people don't. But let's non-binary definition. Not relating to, composed of, or involving just two things, and relating to, using, or denoting a system of numerical notations that does not have two as a base. So essentially, what the definition of non-binary is, it deals with something that just isn't one or the other. And this does not apply to quote unquote gender fluid people, because non-binary also in scientific terms means something not living. Green is non-binary. It's not one or the other. It's made of two things. The color black is non-binary because it's not one or two. It's made of multiple colors. It's a shade of all colors. White, non-binary. Colors are non-binary. Sticks are non-binary because there's so more than one thing that go into making these things, scientifically speaking and naturally speaking. That's the term of non-binary. I just need to get the definition out there. Okay, so this is the video itself. Show, I guess, from a couple of years ago. I have no idea. But it's a BBC show called The Big Questions. And this really, really confused, and I'm confused myself. Enjoy.
Emma, hi. You're neither male nor female, right?
That's true. I identify as non-binary, which means that I'm neither male nor female, and corresponding to that, I use the they, them pronoun.
And you said
we already went over the definition of non-binary, right? Non-binary does not apply to gender because gender is binary. She is a woman. She is a she. She does not look like a he. If she was really a he, she would be transitioning to a he, right? If she felt like a he, she would be a transgender person, right? Well, I'm sorry, but you're female. Bum, bum, bum. You're female. I'm sorry to break the news to you. Them, they, their are words you use for a collective group of people. Now, I'm not a big writer. I don't write novels. I write poems here and there. I write a few scripts here and there. But here's a good example of they, them, their. For example, they, meaning a group, is going to meet at Madison Square Garden tonight. That's a sentence using they. Them. Hey, John, would you like to go with them? Group of people to Madison Square Garden tonight. Their. This is their singular person. This is their property. They're words you use to describe a singular pronoun or a singular form for someone's property, and them and their are two words you could use to describe groups of people. They are not gender terms. Gender terms are he, she, or him, or her, or hermaphrodite. I will go one further and say that there are 3 genders because there are people, it's very rare, but it does happen. There are people who are born intersex, but 99.9% of the time, people are born either male or female. So non-binary genders don't exist. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but the science is not in your favor.
Are damaging our society, so we need to think very carefully about language. Yeah?
Yes, so a lot of our social selves are codified and cultured in the language that we use. We really use it to construct our entire society. And
yes, we use language to construct our entire society. Yes, we do. But at the same time, gender roles aren't necessarily anti-biology. I mean, yes, there are ways that gender roles have affected men and women in negative ways and in positive ways, but gender roles exist. They've existed in human society for years. So there's a biology reason why men and women have different brain chemistry and different brain patterns and different brain gray and white matter. There's a reason why men and women have different brains. There's a scientific reason to explain all this. This is where gender roles come in. Now, am I all for gender roles? Not necessarily. I do think women have the right to work a full-time job just like a guy. I strongly believe that women have the right, just as a man, to get the same pay as a guy does, working a dangerous job or a less dangerous job. It doesn't matter. Women have the right to work. So I'm not going to say women shouldn't work. Women should have the right to work. But if a woman decides, I just want to be a housewife, that's her choice. And Kaylee Cuoco, or Kaylee, whatever her name is from Big Bang Theory, when she was married for that brief amount of time, she decided to be the stereotypical housewife when she was not working on the Big Bang Theory. And so people criticized her for it, but that was her personal choice. Now, I'm not completely all for gender roles, but they do exist. And there's a biology and scientific reason why they do exist.
what's certainly true is that there is a huge variance of gender presentation and gender identity within humankind. There isn't simply
humankind,
men and women. Exactly, humankind is basically mankind.
You wouldn't say mankind. That should be.
I wouldn't, just because humankind is a more accurate descriptor in the.
Okay. Not that I'm faulting her for using the word humankind. I mean, I've used it before. Multiple people have used it before. I've also used mankind. But scientifically, you're going to hear more people say, well, the fate of mankind is in the hands of the young men and women today. Yeah, humankind is, this meaning the same term. So I'm not really going to fault her for using that.
Same way that me using they, them is a more accurate descriptor of my identity than using he or she.
Yeah, but see, that's not the same. Humankind is acceptable because, we are a human species. We are a human race. So yes, humankind is it could also be another term for mankind. But the thing is, though, you can't say, though, that them and they are gender pronouns for gender binary person, because gender is binary. Gender is determined. Now there could be a brain chemistry mix up, and someone could be transgender and have the brain of a woman or have the brain of a man and be born in the wrong body, which is entirely possible. But 99.9% of the time, gender is predetermined when you are through the growing process in your mother's womb. So gender is binary. Colors, sticks, towels, pictures are non-binary because we create them.
Use Homo sapiens.
I very rarely in my life use scientific language to describe the people I work with.
Wise man, it means. Okay, but it's something we need to think about that.
I think we should at least be
reclassification in biology.
thinking about the evolution of language to support gender neutrality.
Yeah, got you.
And that's for a number of reasons. The first
You're against the term Homo sapiens. Why? Because it has the word homo in it? Homo doesn't necessarily mean gay. It's like the term faggot, okay? Faggot necessarily doesn't mean gay. If you go to England, you'll hear the term, hey, can I have a fag? Can you lend me a fag? I'm out of my ciggy sticks. You know, fag is also a term for cigarette in England, okay? Now, fascist is a bundle of sticks. So is the term faggot. So you could say the early definition for fascism is faggot. Okay? Now, yes, the term faggot can be used in a derogatory way, but you see gay men and bisexual men use the term towards each other on a daily basis because it's a way, it's like a brotherhood code, you know. Bisexual culture, gay culture, they're different worlds, but generally it's the same thing. But the thing is, though, yeah, we use the term faggot towards each other every now and then or all the time when we meet each other because it's like a, you know, brotherhood badge name. Not all gay guys use it, but most gay guys do. But the thing is, though, Homo sapien is the scientific term for human beings. So if you're going to throw all scientific terms out the window, we are fucked from a scientific standpoint. And I'm not a scientist, and this shit worries me.
is that it stops this assumption that either the most important people in the room are men or that the only people in the room are men. And secondly, it does include that wider spectrum of gender. There's an excellent quote by a German linguist, Louisa Pusch, who says that gender and language should be both comfortable and fair. And she was referring to German, which is one of the most strictly gender codified languages in Europe.
German.
And English is not.
What's happening in German?
So German has a grammatical gender and a gendered pronominal system.
That's okay. Now I am learning Italian. Okay, I actually got a thing at Barnes and Noble. In the tonight terms, I would say earlier in the evening, earlier in the day. But essentially what it is, it helps you learn Italian through music, which is the best way for me to learn is through music. And yes, there are gender vowels and consonants in Italian and German and French and Spanish and English, in Switzerlandian and Slovenian and in Turkish and in Hebrew. In Russia, there's masculine and feminine pronouns in all languages because each vowel and each consonant has a masculine or a feminine sound. For example, señorita, feminine. Senor, male. If the word is soft, it's feminine. If the word has an edge to it, it's masculine. That's how language works. I'm not a linguistics person either, but that's basically how language works.
It's gendered pronouns and they have gendered nouns, and that's supported by the wider grammar of the language. But actually the German state is encouraging lecturers, professionals, and industry to use gender-neutral language.
God,
a great example. So in universities.
But that would be creating a whole new language. If Germany, if Angela Merkel, and it really lets this happen, I don't think she will, but if she allows Germany to create gender-neutral language, okay, that means every single country in the European Union and out of the European Union, including the UK, that would include Scotland too, and Ireland because they're part of the UK. But the thing is, though, they would have to change their languages too. And that means Canada would have to change their language. We would have to change our language here in America. So you can't really make gender neutral pronoun language. You can't. Language has a gender assigned to it because either, like I said, if the word has a soft sound to it, it's feminine. If it has an edge to it, it's masculine.
A bit like the University of Hull, universities in Germany, the lecturers are using gender-neutral language to refer to students because it's inclusive of everyone. It gives that space for trans people who are neither male nor female.
Yeah.
Trans people are male or female. This is why they're trans. If Ronda Rousey, I know she's not transgender, but I have a poster of her, so she's a great example. If Ronda Rousey was having problems with gender identity and she went to see a therapist and the therapist said, well, you have gender dysphoria, she would transition to a man. She would go from a she to a he. Now, if Chris Pratt had gender issues, he would go to the therapist and the therapist would say, you have gender dysphoria. He would go from a he to a she. Transgender people do have a gender. They do have a gender. They're either he or she's. They're either male or female. They're not gender non-binary. That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. It's a matter, Andrew, it's a matter of courtesy, this, and sensitivity.
Courtesy is all very well. I mean, you're describing encouraging people to use certain words. My problem is when words are policed. That is my problem. I mean, look, we can all get back to...
Thank you. This guy understands. When you start policing language, when you start making everything politically correct, when you start controlling how everyone says, the list of words you can't say because it offends people, guess what happens? Guess what happens? You take people's freedom of speech to be taken away, and you create a fascist language. So if anybody uses the dirty words that they cannot say, they get punished for it. You know, Charles Heston and George Carlin disagreed on things often. George Carlin was very liberal. Charles Heston, very conservative. But they both agreed to this one thing. Political correctness is fascism with manners. They both agreed to that saying. And both George Carlin and Charles Heston echoed that in their lifetimes. Political correctness is fascism with manners. And this guy understands that.
We can all go back to those sorts of things, humankind or mankind. I mean, those are sort of interchangeable now. They're synonymous anyway. We're talking about when people actively, and it is a minority of activists, it really is a minority, seek to have people disciplined or sacked because they refuse to use language that they're imposing. That's not the evolution of language, that's the imposition of language, and I think that's problematic.
I think it really depends on the context. So you may, for example, have...
Yes, context matters. If you know context matters, why can't you get it through your thick skull, lady? That language needs gender pronouns. Why can't you get through your thick skull that trans people have a gender? Why can't you get through your thick skull that you're born as either male or female? Why can't you get any of this through your thick skull if you know that context matters? Or if you're just saying that but don't really know why it matters? I want to know. Seriously, I want to know. Because at this point, I'm just as confused as the guy next to you who looks like the almost popular cousin of Captain Picard.
But I wouldn't say it. You hear what it said. That's rude, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that it is dehumanizing
Yeah.
and shouldn't ever be a voice for the entirety of the trans community. Some people may self-select to use it,
Right.
but it in general is quite a dehumanizing approach.
Isn't this actually bad for women? The suffragettes would be appalled about this.
Yes, 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 yes. That point should have been brought up a while ago now. The suffragettes and suffragettes of England, of America, of anywhere, any women suffragettes, okay? The suffragettes fought for women's rights, so they were proud to be women. You know, they held signs, proud to be a woman. Women need rights. Women are just like men. You know, they were proud to be women, but they also wanted women to have rights. So why would they want their proud identity as women to be taken away from them because that person has hurt feelings when she's referred to as a she, even though it's obvious she's a she?
To be noticed. They want women to be out there. They want women.
Was I on point or was I on point?
Women to achieve and for other women to know that they have achieved.
It's really about something.
What about people who are non-binary? What about people who are gender fluid?
We're all male and female. We've always, yes, of course, we're all male and female. There
What
are
about transgender people?
there are a tiny minority of people who have intersex conditions, and there are a tiny minority of people who have some condition where they may have a female brain and a male body.
As I said before.
Apart from this, we are all male and female, and the attempt to suggest that there is a third gender is, as far as I'm concerned, it's an ideological and a political project. It doesn't exist. The words male and female have existed throughout history, throughout the world. They refer, men are people who have penises, women are people who have vaginas. It's as simple as that. I would absolutely refuse to refer to this woman here, who's clearly a woman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why are the conservatives and liberals that band together against political correctness in England are far more intelligent than those here in America? You know, in England, they're just as sick as identity politics as we are in America. But in England, you have conservatives and liberals that band together and say, political correctness is bullshit. We got to stop it. And this is where you see the beauty of both sides coming together and criticizing this person who obviously doesn't know about the history of the world. And yes, I think Miss Brown, I think that's what her last name was. Miss Brown here is very intelligent in the sense of when she said that we've always been using the terms male or female ever since the beginning of fucking time. So, you know, why change it now? Why fuck up the world chemistry now?
As a they, because for me that would be imposing an ideological political system. Because she is. If everybody watching this program can see that she is a woman. And that is imposing.
That's your problem. I think that's actually your
imposing.
problem. You're imposing.
No, you are asking me to engage.
She's right. It's part of a political agenda, but no, the person that said that it's imposing a gender, it's not imposing a gender. She's a woman. She is a woman. The one who says that she's gender fluid. She's a woman. Plain and simple. She's a woman. Period. And I'm surprised the BBC let penis and vagina get away on their TV. They're more sensible than the FCC is because they have to bleep out vagina and penis because, you know, think of the kids. But anyway, but it's not imposing. This person is absolutely right. It's not imposing. She's clearly a woman. Unless she was transgender, then I would be using the term he. It's a she.
in an ideological political system which I disagree with. I believe we are all male and female.
What they should be called is imposing an ideological system.
No,
I really want to
it is
come
not.
back and
It's
address
referring to a
just some of the
reality.
scientific
I'm not for a cup of
inaccuracies
tea.
of
Scientific and yeah, who's more scientific and accurate than you are, lady? Jesus fucking Christ. So you're saying you, as born a woman, you are female. You're saying that's scientifically inaccurate? My God. You're not showing any signs of gender dysphoria. You're not showing any signs of depression or any confusion with your gender. So you're not transgender. As far as I know, you're not hermaphrodite, and it does look like you're hermaphrodite. The conclusion, you're a woman. You know, stop denying what you biologically are. You are biologically born, and you mentally are a woman. Like, I'm biologically male and mentally a male. That's how biology works. You know, you're more anti-science in this case. Don't tell the conservative person that she's anti-science, because actually she isn't. She's actually more pro-science than you are.
Your respect for me is already diminished if you insist that I ascribe to some ideology of third gender, which I do not agree with. If she is socially constructed, how come everybody watching this, everybody in the audience, can basically identify male and female just by looking? Occasionally there are people who are more difficult to identify, and we try to be tactful, but it's not just socially ascribed. It relates to a physical reality reflected in our voices, our appearances, in all kinds of ways.
I disagree with her. You can tell if someone's a male or female based on their voice. For a long, I'll tell you this. For a long time, before my voice dropped, my family thought I was my mom when I would be speaking to them on my cell phone. Now, since my voice dropped, now even in the house, there are family members of mine who think I sound like my grandmother. Your voice can't really determine if you're male or female, but it's your outward appearance and your mental state. Now, your mental state, once again, if you are doing things that typically you wouldn't do if you were okay being male or female, you're transgender. But your voice, on the other hand, that doesn't really say anything. That's the only part where I disagree with you. But everything else, you're correct so far.
No? Do you think? Someone must agree with me. Who wants to say something? You want to say something in a grey jumper. They want to say something.
They, yeah.
Are you they, or do I say she wants to say
I am
something?
a female. That's my belief
Do you want me to say she wants to say something?
And that is fine. However, the idea that you're saying...
Hey. I wouldn't use the term belief system, but I know where you're going.
That if this person chooses to say that they are they, that you can't engage with that because of your belief system. We live in a culture where lots of people have lots of different beliefs, as is very, very clear on today's show. Say, I have this belief system, so therefore I'm going to impose it on everyone. In this, you can't do that. Like, she has a particular... They have a particular...
Very good.
Look, at least I accept that.
I do that.
Yeah, imposing a belief system. Yeah, that's my problem. This is why I'm not a feminist, because of these fucking reasons. To be a feminist, it's a fucking religion. Like, if you're a guy and you're a feminist, you have to cut your dick off. You know, I made a video mentioning that, but you know, but yeah, look. Belief system or not, this is just scientifically inaccurate and damaging to children in schools. What are we going to expect when we get teachers like this gender fluid person to teach kids? Oh, you're not really male or female. You're a mixture of both genders. Well, a personality can be be made of both male and female traits, which happens. You know, there are women who are more butch than feminine, so they have more male personality traits than female personality traits, and there are more men with feminine traits than male traits. So they have you know, they have a more of a feminine brain pattern, but yet they're still male. But yet the butch women are still women. You know, that's the thing though. Just because your personality trait might be more masculine or feminine doesn't mean that you're gender binary. You're either still male or female. Well, why did I mute that?
Position of it. Some people might say, well, when councils are doing it, or when universities are doing it, it is something of an imposition. And some people might be afraid to embark upon a sentence and then walk through eggshells until they get to the end of the sentence in case they say the wrong thing. And so it's not exactly liberating, it's constricting, isn't it?
Well, it's liberating people that are vulnerable.
Peter.
It's not liberating. You can't, you shall not. Okay, you know what? I'm going to start, you know, I'm an atheist. If you're a viewer of my YouTube channel, you know this already. But if you're not, someone typically watches my channel, well, surprises out of the bag. I'm an atheist. But the thing is though, you know, okay, so you can make people walk on eggshells to say what they want. Okay, yes, we should be tactful. I agree. We should be tactful in certain situations. I agree. I don't disagree with the notion that being tactful is I don't disagree with the notion that being tactful is a good thing. I think it can be a good thing in certain situations, but you shouldn't have to walk on eggshells to say what the fuck you want to. And I think you are fucking crazy to say that you're gender fluid and that you deny you're female. I think you're fucking crazy. You're batshit. You are genuinely batshit.
Now you work for the Daily Telegraph. I want your mission next week to go to Telegraph and to convince the editor to use gender-neutral language. How will that go down?
The truth is, the Telegraph pretty much does use gender-neutral language. It doesn't use they, but it uses firefighter and it uses chair. Truth is, language is organic. It reflects the society that it comes out of, and you can impose bits of it, but ultimately, is they going to stick as a personal pronoun for one person? I kind of doubt it, because actually, that's not how most people see the world. And I think, you know, we're kind of right on the margin here. I'm father of 2 daughters. I think actually firefighter is better than fireman. Yeah.
See, fireman, same thing. You know, you're fighting fire, regardless if you're man or woman.
My 2 girls, if they want to work in the fire service, terrific.
Because it's accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should get too hung up. If you want to tie yourself in knots, ultimately, the arbiter of whether that works or not will be language, and they will accept it or reject it on a basis of common sense, because it's nothing more utilitarian than language.
And quite happily,
we mustn't lose sight of the fact that language does refer to a reality. As a writer, I'm very aware of this. It's very important. He, she.
Language refers to reality. Thank you very much. This is why American society is fucked, because people are using non-binary, trans, blah, blah, blah. You're either trans or you're not, to quote Blair White. You're either trans or you're not. But all this current language is going to fuck up American society, and already is fucking up American society. And half of these gender fluid people can't get a fucking job, and they're shocked. Why? You're either male or female. End of story.
Refers to a male and female reality, and I think that there is something very serious at stake if we really do start eroding concepts of male and female, which I believe is happening. And
well, I can't necessarily find the if there's a part 2. But yeah, that was my reaction slash reply. But yeah, the person's batshit crazy. Let's be honest, the person's batshit nuts. Bonkers. Look, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with the conservative and the liberal that banded together against this batshit person. And to say that male or female is imposing a social construct, no. It's not imposing anything. It's biology. People 99.9% of the time are either born male or female. The 1% of the time, 0.1% of the time, they're either born as transgender or hermaphrodite. Okay? And transgenders, on the other hand, as I got to repeat this because like this person's batshit crazy, transgender people have a gender. They're either male or female. They transition. That's what the term transgender means. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And then if you want to watch the video for yourself or share this with people, go ahead. If you want to thumb down this video because I offended you, whatever, I don't care. But this stuff is really fucking annoying me. See ya. And resist the stupid.